What's up, everybody? I'm Apollo. This is Late Great Game Reviews, and this week I'm reviewing Remember Me. It's made by Don't Nod Entertainment. They're the developers. The publisher is Capcom. Came out back in May of 2013, so it's relatively new. I like the game. I know the game has not gotten great reviews in the past and such, but reviews are pretty much subjective, so here's my take. It's the basic premise. You're the protagonist is Nilin. She's an ex-memory hunter who, when you start out, she's basically in this prison known as La Bastille in Neo Paris, which is Paris in 2084, which is when the game takes place. Is like the backstory of a civil war that happened in Europe and a bunch of stuff. You'll find out if you play the game. But basically, yeah, you start out. You're an ex-memory hunter. Your memory's been wiped. Suddenly, this guy named Edge, kind of Morpheus Neo style, gets in contact with you and basically shows you the way to get out. And so once you're released, you basically are taking revenge on the people that wiped your memory, basically, and trying to regain your memories as the game progresses. And the main antagonist force in the game is this corporation known as Memorize. The whole like sort of mythos and of the game is that memories are can now be digitized and even become commodities, and that they can be memory hunters steal other people's memories and also remix memories. That's actually one of the coolest features of the game is the memory remixes, where you can actually go into someone's head and change events, manipulate events to the way that you want them to be. Um, and just like obviously even if the events didn't actually happen, the person that your target remembers the memories the way you want them to. It's really, really cool. It's a shame there actually weren't more of the memory remixes in the game. There's only 4 total. That's what was shown of the game mostly. The big draw of the game. Coming into it, all the trailers showed that before it came out and stuff. So it's a shame there wasn't more of that. But still, the game has plenty to offer. It's a really beautiful game. The environments are great. I mean, and weather effects like rain on the pavement and on the buildings of this dystopian futuristic Paris can be really beautiful. I mean, you know, there's a traversal system, and you're climbing. It's a really super smooth traversal system, and when you're traversing buildings, whether it's in the slums or the upper class places of the city. There's lots of different sections of the city, by the way. But whether you're traversing in any environment in the game, when you're outside, whether it's dark and stormy, and the neon lights are reflecting off the buildings as you jump from one rooftop to the next, or you're in the sewers that are dank and dreary, or you're in the La Bastille prison, which is a very interesting concept. As there are a lot of those in the game. But the environments are beautiful. The game does look a little bit dated. Like the cutscenes look really good, but the game itself, it is sleek and it's beautiful. But it does look slightly dated, just a little bit, which is a little strange. But yeah, great environments. The world, there's a lot of great concepts. So many great concepts. I mean, the idea that you can just digitize memories and steal memories and stuff like that. It approaches the awesome like level of sci-fi that you see in something like The Matrix or Inception. It's just really mind-bending. And you have there's specific examples of just incredible imaginative concepts that are in this game, or something like remembrains, which are essentially they're like these portals which you step onto, and they show you residual memories that you can follow and get information from. Residual digital memories that you're seeing in real time, It's really cool. And another one, like I mentioned, is Lava Still, the prison, which is basically on entry, the inmates' memories are erased, so that while they're inside, they don't. Not only do they don't remember their past lives, but they don't even remember the outside world, which basically quells any feelings of violence or anger. And then on once they exit the prison, once their time is up, their time is served, their memories are given back. So there's a lot of controversy in the world, but man, really great concepts. Nilin as well, the main protagonist, she is very cool. Very she's not like a just a blank slate sort of Marcus Phoenix protagonist. I mean, she's not you don't get a whole lot of um, well, that's not true. You do get some depth with her in between the chapters. You get to hear some inner monologue, some of her inner monologue, um, uh, inner dialogue with herself and her situation, and that is pretty cool. But she also she questions everything, whether it's her so-called friends or her opposition. She questions everything every step of the way. So that's definitely nice. It's always nice to have a protagonist with a personality. Um, also, let's see the combat system. The combat system, it's pretty good. It's not perfect. It could definitely be a lot tighter. It's clearly inspired by like the Batman Arkham games, the whole free flow system. It doesn't go quite into the free flow area. I mean, some of the sort of super moves or S pressings as they're called do let you go into free flow. Or free flow esque type mode, but basically it's a pretty good system. It I can understand it's a little clunky, and for reasons that I really don't understand, there is no counter, um, which is really annoying. But the buttons are I'm playing on the PS3, and the buttons are essentially the same as Arkham Asylum, or Arkham City or Arkham Origins. Almost the same. I mean, basically, punch is square, kick is X rather than counter. Rather than, I mean, kick is triangle rather than triangle being counter. But the point is, there's no counter. I don't know why. It would have made the system so much smoother and tighter and just better. But yeah, the system it has its flaws, but at the same time, there's such a huge variety of enemies in the game that and you have to constantly adjust your tactics in fighting them, um, whether they're force filled enemies or robots or different types of leapers, which are these different enemies that you can climb the walls and jump off and attack you. And you get there's so many fights in the game. You get attacked by so many hordes of enemies and that attack you in different ways that you have to constantly adjust your strategy to taking them all on and not getting hit and all that. And that keeps you on your toes. I liked it. It's a nice momentum to each fight. At least for the main enemy fights. For the boss fights honestly in the game, they're a mess. They're not very difficult, but on any of the difficulties, there's three different difficulties, but they're not really that difficult on any of the difficulties. The problem is that they you're literally grinding through boss fights in this game. It's really strange. Like you have to hit the enemies so many times, literally within each boss fight. You're literally punching the enemy maybe thousands of times, not exaggerating, to take them down completely. It's pretty ridiculous. Even some of the regular enemies you have to punch a lot, punch and kick and pummel into the ground again and again and again until they actually go down permanently. I don't know why the developer thought that was a good idea, but it really does start to wear on you after a while, and it just becomes really frustrating, especially in boss fights. Um, Another thing is that the combo system that you implement within the combat system, you can kind of customize. Like you can choose, there's basically four different types of, I don't know how to say it. There's four different types of Well, I mean, in the game they call them pressings. So there's four different types of pressings. There's regenerative pressings. There's uh, your S pressing cooldown. I'll explain S pressings in a second. But your S pressing cooldown. There's uh, damage increaser, and there's a chain. And basically, each one of those pressings are basically buttons. They're square and triangle that you can put into each different combo that you unlock and make as throughout the game as the game progresses, and you can put each one of those pressings um, into each combo configuration any way you want. It's pretty cool. It's not quite any way you want, but in the order that they tell you to do on the game. It would have been nice if you kind of and it would have kind of made more sense for Nillen's story since she's kind of recovering her memory as the game goes on. If you kind of just uncovered the combos, like just set combos, kind of like in the Batman Arkham games, you uncover certain combos and rather than because having to make them on your own, it might be appealing to some people, not particularly to me. I just kind of wanted to keep playing the game, so I didn't use that, you know, combo press and custom system too much. But it's all right. It could be a lot. That system could be a lot better. The What was I gonna say? There's so much to say about the game. I'm probably not gonna get to all of it. Let me check my notes quick. Um, Oh yeah, there's a few things like in the fights and just in the game in general while you're traversing and mainly in the fights there's some really shitty camera angles that can easily cost you your life in a fight. Like you'll run into a corner and the camera will just automatically shift back and rotate around, and as well there's like sometimes like things in the background while you're fighting will obstruct your view and you can't see anything. Sometimes when you're traversing, an object will come into view, will again obstruct your view and you'll fall and die. The traversing, like I said, is super smooth, but there are just a few occasions when, you know, you'll jump or I would jump onto a ledge or jump onto a post or something, and Nilin automatically rolls, and she would sometimes roll off. So small gripe, not that big of a deal. Really didn't happen that often. Pretty rare. But it was pretty irritating. Um, Sorry, the notes. There's just so much to say. Checkpoints are forgiving, which is nice because, like I said, with those boss fights, um, and with enemies just not going down, sometimes it can get frustrating. But as the game goes along, you get more used to the combos and stuff, and it's not like the combos are and the combat system is hard to grasp. It's more just there's a lot of enemies, and sometimes the enemies are really difficult. Um, the memory remixes, I think I already said I really do wish there were more. There's only four. Wish there were more of those. There's some cool. There's the AI dialogue is really weird and cheesy and stupid. Honestly, the guards just say the weirdest fucking things like, "Oh, I'm gonna make you dance all night." What does that even mean? I don't know. But yeah, it's yeah, and some of the voice acting, like Nilin is good, and a lot of the main characters are good, but some of like the, I guess, mini bosses that you fight, like they sound really strange, like really just it doesn't fit the character. The voice does not fit the character at all. Um, Oh, the S Pressons. That's what I wanted to do. The S Pressons, yeah. So the S Pressons are basically they're super moves, basically that you get through doing combos and building up your focus meter. And your focus meter is it's kind of the same thing as like something like I don't play a lot of fighting games, but something like Street Fighter 4 or something where you build up, your focus meter and then you can do the super move. It's kind of like that. Um, and you build up these and there's a lot of I think you have maybe six. I can't remember the exact number, but you have like I think like six different espressions that you unlock throughout the game, and they're all really cool. There's one. I mean, for instance, there's just to name a few. There's one that lets you basically go turbo, meaning like you're a lot faster and your damage deals more hits. And that's another thing, is that in the game, the longer, like I usually stuck with like making short combos, that like mixed all the different types of precedents together. But making long combos does have its advantages as well, because you can, the longer you make your combo, um, the longer it is, and the further each one of the precedents are in, the more powerful that precedent will be. So in other words, if you have 10 slots in a combo, and you put one precedent in the second slot, and another one of this, the same precedent in, say, the 10th slot, that second slot will be great, but the 10th slot will basically have accumulated all the power of the previous precedents and put it into that last 10th final awesome present, assuming you get to it, and that's really cool. Combos are more powerful the longer you make them, so that's a good thing. But back to the S presents, yeah. So there's one that makes you turbo, makes you faster, makes you stronger. There's another one that basically lets you stun all the enemies in the immediate vicinity for a second, or for more than a second, but I don't know, like 15, 20 seconds. There's another one that allows you to do what it's called a logic bomb, which basically is pretty cool. You like stick I guess it's like a ball of digital energy or something, but it's cool. You basically stick this basically grenade of energy on one enemy, and it's best to do it in a crowd. And there's a radius that you need to jump out of, and that it explodes and takes down a bunch of enemies at once. So, and there's more precedents. Like I said, I think there's 6 or 7. But yeah, so it's definitely cool. Yeah, and like I said, tons of different types of enemies. It's a great world, great environments, very, very imaginative, very cool. I do wish it was a bit more explorable, not necessarily open world. I don't think that would work very well for this game, but it would be nice if they were like more like Infamous, something like where there's side missions or side quests or something like that. That would have been nice. Also, there's tons of collectibles in the game. Um, a lot, like a lot. Um, if you're going for that platinum, actually, it's not that difficult of a platinum. I didn't get it, but I considered it because it's not that difficult of a platinum to get if you're going for it. But there are a lot of collectibles and a lot of different types. I mean, there's what they call the Nesis memories. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And there's different types of those. They're basically memories they're notes, that you're picking, or they basically act as notes, where you're picking up the memory and you're getting it, and it deals with it. You read about the history of Neo Paris, the war that caused everything to happen, what happened to the old Paris, what happened to the rest of Europe, the rest of the world, all that stuff. You read about important people in Neo Paris and that you meet along the way. You read about landmarks. You read about the technology that you're using and that's around you. All very cool. And there's also other collectibles like sacraments, which are basically these parasites that feed off of memories and stuff like that. There's, oh yeah, I can't remember the name of them right now. I played the game I finished the game like an hour ago, but I can't remember for some reason. But there's basically there's also things that you pick up, like focus points and health points that you can pick up through, as you go, and that'll gradually increase your health and focus gauges. So there's a ton of collectibles. I mean, I think there's probably, all in all, like there's more than 100 of all those things to collect. Yeah, and it's all there's a ton of it, and yeah, I was I was gonna say more stuff, but I can't really remember, and this has gone on for a while anyway. But I don't want to end it like that. But there you go. That's a Remember Me. Yeah, that's Remember Me for PS3. It's got a bad rap, but I do admit that I mean, the game is good. I don't consider it great. It could have been great. Um, and who knows, maybe they'll make a sequel. Probably not, based on Capcom's extraordinarily high standards for sales, not necessarily quality. But enough of that. Remember Me is it's a good game. I'd say it's worth renting, not necessarily buying. It's got a good protagonist, great world, solid combat system with room, lots. And there's some room for improvement. Um, but it's a good game, and it's a. I mean, in terms of the soundtrack as well is terrific. I mean, it's a mix of so many different things. You got like techno beats, you got like music that resembles like Ghost in the Shell stuff, which is awesome. I mean, you have like you got stuff that sounds like it's from the Batman Arkham games as well. Even hell, like the Bourne trilogy with like violins and going fast paced. It's crazy, but it's a really diverse soundtrack, really great. Pulse pounding at times, emotionally like uh, I don't know, impactful at others. But yeah, great soundtrack, and yeah, great concepts in the game. It's a really the vision of the game. I think, I mean, it could have been fully realized and better, better harnessed for the game. And this actually it would have made a good anime, or an anime movie or an anime series. I could totally see that, or even like maybe a live action movie. But yeah, it's a good game. I definitely recommend it. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. And yeah, that is Remember Me. I dragged on a bit too long, but hell, it's a good game. Go rent it. Go get it on GameFly. All right, this late great game reviews for this week. I will see you guys and girls next week.